7 signs your friendships are turning toxic after 50. You know that feeling? A quiet dread that settles in right before you're supposed to meet up with them? Your shoulders tense up, maybe a little headache starts to brew, and after you part ways, you don't feel good. You feel completely and utterly exhausted, like you've just run a marathon. You feel drained by a friend who is supposed to lift you up, but the idea of stepping back, especially after decades of history, fills you with this deep, heavy guilt. This feeling is even stronger when it feels like your social circle is already shrinking. If this sounds familiar, trust me, you are not being overly sensitive, and you are not alone. Friendships are one of the best parts of life, right? They're a huge source of support and joy that only gets more precious as we get older. But what happens when a friendship that used to feed your soul starts to poison your peace? After 50, our lives can change a lot. Retirement, kids leaving home, and other big life shifts can really shake up our social lives. Friendships that have lasted for decades can start to show cracks. Not because of some big fight, but because of a slow, creeping toxicity that's often hard to even put your finger on. And that puts us in a tough spot. With social circles naturally getting smaller, the fear of being lonely can be a powerful reason to hold on, even when a relationship is hurting us. We make excuses for them. We tell ourselves it's just a rough patch, or that their behavior is just because of what they're going through. We feel guilty for even thinking about creating distance from someone who's been in our life for so long. But protecting your own well-being isn't selfish. It's absolutely essential. So today, we're going to talk about the 7 subtle red flags of toxic friendships that are common after 50. These signs are often hidden by shared history and a sense of duty. By learning to spot them, you can protect your peace, get your energy back, and make room for relationships that actually support and lift you up in this chapter of your life. Number 1, the constant emotional drain. The first and biggest sign is that you consistently feel emotionally and maybe even physically exhausted after you see them. A healthy friendship should feel like an exhale, a safe space where you can just be yourself. A toxic one feels like you're holding your breath the whole time. You might even feel a jolt of anxiety just seeing their name pop up on your phone. Now, this isn't about a friend who's going through a hard time and needs to lean on you. That's a normal part of any real friendship. This is a chronic pattern. After every call, every lunch, you feel depleted, irritable, or just heavy. You might even find yourself needing a recovery period just to shake off the negativity. Think about it. Do you leave their side feeling lighter and happier, or do you feel like you've just been through an audit? Do you feel a secret sense of relief when they cancel plans? That feeling is your gut screaming at you. It's a sign that the relationship is taking way more than it's giving, leaving you running on empty. This isn't just unpleasant, it can lead to actual burnout and affect your mental and physical health. Number 2, the one-sided street. A healthy friendship is like a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. There's a natural give and take. In a toxic friendship after 50, you might suddenly look around and realize that you're the only one on the dance floor. You're always the one reaching out, making plans and checking in. If you stopped putting in all the effort, the friendship would probably just disappear. This pattern can get worse as we get older. Maybe your friend has retired and just expects you to be free whenever they are, without thinking about your schedule. Or maybe they've started to see you as their personal emotional support hotline, a well they keep drawing from without ever putting anything back in. The conversations are almost always about them, their problems, their wins, their life. They rarely ask about you, and if they do, it feels like they're just waiting for their turn to talk again. And when you're the one going through a hard time, suddenly they're busy or they brush it off. They might give you a quick, "that's tough," before diving right back into their own drama. You've basically become the full-time giver of time, energy, and sympathy, with almost nothing coming back your way. That's not a friendship. It's an unpaid emotional labor job, and the resentment that builds from that imbalance is a poison to your peace. Number 3, the boundary breaker. Setting boundaries is just a way of respecting yourself. But in a toxic friendship, your boundaries are treated like a personal insult. A toxic friend will consistently ignore your limits no matter how clearly you state them. They might make fun of your need for a quiet night in, push you into doing things you said you're not up for, or dismiss your feelings when you tell them they've hurt you. After 50, our boundaries often change. We might have less energy for huge parties, need more alone time, or have different financial limits. A good friend gets that and respects it. A toxic friend gets angry about it. They might try to guilt you, saying things like, "You've changed," or "You're no fun anymore," making you feel bad for just taking care of yourself. Maybe you've told them you're trying to avoid gossip, but they keep trying to drag you into trash-talking people you both know. Or you've explained that you can't be their 24/7 therapist for their marriage problems, but they keep calling at all hours to unload. When a friend repeatedly shows you that your no means nothing to them, they're showing you they don't respect you. Number 4, the green-eyed competitor. Real friends are your cheerleaders. They're genuinely happy for you when good things happen. A toxic friend, on the other hand, often sees your life as a competition they have to win. Instead of being happy about your success, they meet it with jealousy, a subtle put-down, or by immediately changing the subject to something great they did. This can be really sneaky after 50. Maybe you announce you're finally retiring, and instead of congratulations, they start talking about how they could never afford to retire, making you feel guilty. Or you share some exciting news about a grandchild, and they one-up you with a story about their own somehow better grandchild. They might even disguise their digs as brutal honesty to make you feel small. This can also show up as possessiveness. They might get sulky or critical when you hang out with other people. They might try to cut you off from new friends or start drama to make sure they stay at the center of your universe. A friendship should be a safe harbor, not a battlefield. If you find yourself hesitating to share good news because you're afraid of how they'll react, you're not in a supportive friendship. You're in a rivalry you never even signed up for.
You tell them about a new hobby, and they list all the reasons it's a waste of time. You're excited about a trip, and they warned you about everything that could possibly go wrong. Their negativity seeps into everything. They might be complaining all the time, gossiping, or just stirring the pot for no reason. Spending time with them feels like being covered in a layer of cynical grime that's hard to wash off. They can be dismissive of your passions and critical of your choices. This is especially damaging after 50, when so many of us are trying to find new joy and live with purpose. A joy thief pours cold water on those sparks. It's almost as if they can't stand to see you happy because it reminds them of their own unhappiness. You might even find yourself starting to see the world through their dreary lens. This is one of the scariest parts of a toxic friendship. It doesn't just drain you, it can change your whole outlook on life for the worse. Number 6, the eggshell dance. A classic sign of a toxic relationship is that feeling that you're constantly walking on eggshells. You find yourself editing your words, hiding what you really think, and trying to manage their emotions to avoid a fight or a meltdown. The friendship stops being a relaxed, real space. Instead, it becomes a minefield of their personal triggers. You might avoid certain topics because you know it'll set them off. You bite your tongue instead of sharing how you really feel because you're afraid they'll just dismiss you or twist your words. Their moods are all over the place, and you feel like it's your job to keep them calm and happy. That's incredibly stressful. In friendships that have lasted decades, this can become a bad habit. You know their sensitive spots so well that you automatically tiptoe around them. But what used to be a small adjustment has turned into constant self-censorship. You leave conversations feeling frustrated, not because of what was said, but because of everything you couldn't say. If you have to shrink yourself down to keep the peace, it's not a real friendship anymore. It's a performance, and the ticket price is your own authenticity. Number 7, the revisionist historian. Long-term friendships are built on shared memories. A really manipulative thing that can happen in these old friendships is when one person starts rewriting history to make themselves look better. It's a form of gaslighting, where they deny or twist things that happened to make you doubt your own mind. They might bring up a time you really hurt them years ago, and they'll just flatly deny it ever happened. They'll say things like, "You're remembering it wrong," or "That's not how it was at all. You're just being sensitive." They might conveniently forget all the times you showed up for them, but have a perfect memory of every little thing you ever did to offend them. This can make you feel like you're going crazy. You start to question yourself. Was it really that bad? Am I making this up? This is a power move. It's designed to let them off the hook and put all the blame on you. When someone tries to erase your feelings by rewriting the past, they are breaking the fundamental trust that's supposed to be the foundation of a friendship. Okay, so recognizing these signs is the first huge step. But the next one can feel even harder. What do you actually do about it? The guilt can be enormous, especially with a friendship that's 30 or 40 years old. You share so much history. The idea of leaving a hole where that person used to be is scary, especially if you're worried about being lonely. Those feelings are completely normal, but they shouldn't be the cage that keeps you in a situation that's hurting you. Let's try to think about it this way. Looking after your mental and emotional health isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Your peace of mind is precious, and you have every right to protect it. Ending a long-term friendship doesn't always have to be some big dramatic showdown. Oftentimes, the best way to handle it is with a fade-out. This just means you slowly and intentionally create some distance. You stop being the one who always texts first. You become a little less available. You politely say no to invitations more often without giving a long story. You're basically just turning the volume down on the friendship, letting it fade away on its own. If you feel like you need to have a direct conversation, keep it simple and about your feelings. Use I statements like, "I've realized that I need to focus my energy on relationships that feel more positive for me right now." You don't need to give them a laundry list of all their faults. That will just start a fight. The goal isn't to win an argument, it's to get your peace back. It's okay to be sad and grieve what the friendship used to be, but just know that letting go of what's hurting you makes room for what can heal you. Friendships in our later years should be a source of comfort, laughter, and support. They should make our lives better, not drain them. As we figure out all the changes that come after 50, it's more important than ever to surround ourselves with people who see us, respect us, and lift us up. The relationships we choose to keep should be a safe harbor, not the storm we have to keep weathering. Letting go of a toxic friendship is a huge act of self-respect. It's you declaring that your well-being matters. It's choosing to honor the person you are today and to protect the peace you've worked so hard to find. It's not about erasing the good times, but about refusing to let new painful memories be made. By recognizing these signs, you give yourself the power to stop walking on eggshells, to put down the heavy weight of a one-sided relationship, and to step into a future where your friendships are as amazing as you are. The dynamics of long-term friendships are so complicated, and I'm sure many of you have your own stories about this. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. What signs have you noticed? How did you handle a tough situation? Your wisdom could really help someone else who is going through this right now. And if this resonated with you, please consider giving it a like and subscribing for more content on living your best life after 50.